Hey guys, how is your day? I will talk about something that I already talked some days ago, but this time I have something to read about the new tax for the inheritance for any farm or any value of farms of even multiple farms that exceed 1 million of your currency. That's really dangerous. That's incredibly stupid to do for any government. That's really why socialists destroy everything. I will tell you now why this is a horrible idea. A tax of the inheritance of 20%. 20%. Yes, you will say, hey, that's nothing. That's 20% from 1 million or more. Okay, I will tell you the consequences of that. Now, every farmer or company of farmers who own more than 1 million or more, maybe close to 1 million, of half a million, something like that, they will not invest more. They will simply do not invest more because they know they will lose it. They will have to pay that tax. What you do with this tax is stopping any farm from growing more than 1 million. You understand? No company owned by someone or one family will grow more than 1 million. They will not do it. It's not convenient because if you have a farm who is valued for I don't know 900K and you just exceed that amount, you never know when you are going to exceed it because the price of the farms it changes every moment or every month. You know that, but the problem is this: if you get to a certain point, you will actually lose everything you have on that 20% amount. Everything. It's not about 1 million. Imagine if you have a company who improved not only owns 1 million in lands. Imagine a company that has 2 million, 10 million. They will have to pay 1 million. No, I'm sorry, 10 million, 2 millions. 2 millions. If they have the bad luck of, God forbids, dying. That's it. You're just going against investments. First of all, that's something. Think about that. And now think about this. People do not know when someone will die. You could die from a heart attack. You could die from an accident. Even if you are sick, you don't know when you are going to die. And you believe people will just store 20% of the entire value of the farms, just store it there because, I don't know, your grandpa will die someday? No, people do not work that way. 20% of 1 million is a lot of money. No one will have the money stopped. No one. No one. That's why now, if you have that amount of money in land and your grandpa dies and the sons claim the farms, they will have to sell 20% of the farms. And who will buy that? Let me guess. The government probably will offer a way of making it easier. Just give me 20% of the land and you don't need to sell it. Well, imagine a government that takes away land. They would just destroy the productivity of the land. It would destroy it because the owners will be public employees or public politicians. They don't know a fucking thing about producing anything. Not only that, they would use the land for doing stupid things. I can bet that. I can just clearly bet about that. Well, and even if you just shrink your company at 20% and you sell it legally, well, I believe that's a problem too. Who will buy? You will create somehow some offering, but I believe that people will just sell. I know you cannot take away. You cannot fly away with your land. You cannot do that. But probably a lot of people will just simply sell before reaching 1 million. You doomed UK to do not have any company of a value of 1 million or more. Farm company. Maybe they will do something legally to avoid that. I don't know. Maybe create a social, something like a jurisdiction, something legally to avoid that. Maybe make it something like stocks, something like that. Something like that. I mean, you could create a legal society with a bunch of people when no one is the owner. Well, maybe something like that. So the no one is the owner, so that tax will not apply. But doesn't matter. Let's continue. In the case of the government taking 20% they will just surely give those lands or those plots to any friend of the government. They will stop. They will produce less. You will have now. People will not invest more than you will not have specialized, not any kind of a specialized farms, because they will not have enough capital. They will not have more than 1 million because a lot of people will not reach that and up and up. They will not go more because of this tax. They will not just simply have a kind of lands or a plot of land valued or a multiple plot of lands with a value higher than that. Okay. Now, imagine the other thing. Imagine your grandpa dying on a not a 20% tax. I will give you an example of socialism. And that example is, for example, I say it 2 times, Zimbabwe. For racist, for just for racial reasons, they expropriated this. They take it away lands from white people. Okay, and give it away from to obviously the ones the friends in power. Mostly. The result of that was just plummeted in production because they didn't knew how to produce. They didn't knew anything. Those guys didn't have any capital neither. You need to know one thing. Farms is not about being rich. You are not rich. You have a farm. You have to work a lot and know. And the kind of knowledge you have, the farmers, is a kind of knowledge you will have with a lifetime of working. Not only that, they have capital. They have the tools. They have everything. You have the tools and the knowledge. Not only the knowledge, but probably the contacts. They know who they should talk to get anything. I don't know, seeds, pesticides, specialized personnel to know if you need something on your land, on your plot of land, fertilizers, when to sembrar. I don't know what's the word. When to actually it's, when to put the seed on the plant, but most in a big amount. I don't remember the word correctly. I have a really bad memory. But they know the date to do it. They know the season. They know everything. They have experience of their lands, on their plots, on their farms. They have experience. A lot. And you cannot give a farm to a random idiot who never worked because he was his entire life on an office. He doesn't know anything. I come from a farmer's family, and that's the life they have. Just waking up early and go to sleep the same way, early on the afternoon. It's a sacrifice. It's a life with a lot of sacrifice. Okay, and I will give you some even worse reasons, or a lot of reasons, maybe one reason more to tell you why this is a bad idea. Of course, the government of Zimbabwe is just expropriated, and when the production fall or came, just crashed it. They printed money, which created a hyperinflation, and that is the reason why we know Zimbabwe as a poor country right now. Okay. What is even worse is the fact that you imagine you have a 100% tax to inheritance, and you, as a father with little children, you, for some reason, you die at 30, on your 30s, on your 40s, something like that. Even in your 50s, and you have young children. What is going to happen to your family if they lose what is from them? What is going on? For now, you have 20%. They will affect them. How the fuck are they going to pay for that? For the 20% tax? Okay, maybe they have a tiny amount of land. Maybe it's something different. It's not more than 1 million. Perfect. But imagine if you have a 100% tax. If you die, your family loses everything. 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 They will not inherit anything. Absolutely anything. Your family will just starve. Your family, the one you are working for right now, because that's the legacy you want to give to the world. It's your family, and they will suffer a lot after you die. I can bet you don't want that future for your children, and that's another reason why inheritance tax is horrible. It's a bad idea, horrible idea. Maybe I will have some more ideas about why this is a bad idea. Socialist is horrible. Any socialist idea you have will destroy everything. Even if you don't know what you are affecting, even if you don't know what you are damaging, you cannot simply predict how much you will destroy with interventionism when you interfere with the economy. You don't know how much it will destroy everything. Okay, I bet you can understand this maybe a little better. I don't have anything more right now to think about this, but I wanted to say something because every moment, every day that is passing by on the UK, everything is going worse and worse and worse and worse because of the consequences of socialism. Thank you very much, and I wish you to stay being UK. I mean, your culture, because I believe on the idea of Europe, at least. I don't want a future being Africa, a Muslim Africa, a Muslim or an Indian Europe, poor, disorganized, totally destroyed. I don't want the future. I want your culture to influence others. The other way around. Even if I am an Argentinian, I really want that. I really want that because I believe I prefer Europe in every moment, every piece. The idea of Europe, of Western societies, because it's a good idea, because it creates clean societies that care about others, that do not discriminate, and they believe on freedom of commerce, freedom of everything, every kind of freedom. We respect others. The other societies they do not do that. Seriously, as an Argentinian, I just really don't care. Of course, I believe the Islas Malvinas are Argentina, from Argentina, of course. And I believe today you are just a tiny country to just keep wasting money on a moat on the sea. I know that's not the only one. You have a lot of a big overseas platform. I know that, but you are a tiny country right now. If I'm not wrong, I will count your citizens as 50 million. I know you have a 60, if I don't know, if I'm not wrong. But from my point of view, the ones who are really citizens are 50 million, and we have 50 million too. You need to understand that. You are a tiny nation. You cannot keep spending money. And that socialist that you have on the country, on your country, will destroy everything, because socialists just keep wasting money and raising taxes. And you know who pays that? The worker, the true citizen. They pay for that. While everything is getting worse, well, and your country is being invaded. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much. I believe you will appreciate this. Give me your thumbs up. Donate. Maybe I will edit. Maybe I will on the next video. I will probably put something directly on the screen so you can donate. Thank you. Just fight for your freedom. Goodbye.